Philadelphia Eagles now is presented by Manscaped. It is time for fresh ball fall. Get your balls cleaned up with the best men's grooming products by heading to manscaped.com/chat. Use the promo code chat so that they know that Chat Sports and Eagles Now sent you. We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. Coming your way on today's show, taking your questions from the best fan base in all of sports. I love the passion that is exuded here on a daily basis, whether we're live or putting these videos up after the fact. Art Thomas kicking this mailbag off with this. Who do you think is the Jay Ajayi missing piece that we can trade for? That's an awesome question. Now, the sneaky guy at running back would be Josh Jacobs. Let's say that the Raiders lose once again. That would mean that they're 0 in their first 4 games of the season. Josh Jacobs and Miles Sanders could be a really good 1-2 punch in this backfield, but I actually want to go with Miles Sanders more so because I think that he can be that number 1 back on a really good roster. You look elsewhere, though, maybe they need to bring in a defensive end out there like a Robert Quinn, maybe even a DB if an injury happens, but honestly, this team is really stacked. You know, earlier in the week, we put together our trade targets video as well as some trade candidates that we covered on our live show. A lot of people made a good point about the special teams unit. Can the Eagles even just go out there and upgrade special teams and bring in a better punt and kick returner as compared to Britton Covey, who I think can be good at that spot in the long haul? He's certainly sure-handed back there, but hasn't really brought much punch yet to the football field. Those are a couple of areas that I'm looking at for Philadelphia. Other than that, I think they have a really stacked roster. That's a great question, Art Thomas. Fitzgerald, I think trade Fletcher Cox right now. You don't need to. Nor do I want to see it happen. I think that he is one of the backbones of this Eagles organization. He's been a really good leader and an excellent player for this team for a really long time. And honestly, I like the motivated Fletcher Cox. A couple of years ago and over the last couple of years, I've been a little bit disappointed in his inconsistency. He has been Jekyll and Hyde. He's really been up and down. This year, though, throughout the first 3 games, he has played very, very motivated. And that gets me really pumped up about Fletcher Cox. So I wouldn't trade him. You could get some really good value back, but I want to see him be a longtime Eagle. Really, the big question is, how much money does he demand when he becomes a free agent in 2023? Ryan Rowe, he's always one of our first commenters. If you want to be like Ryan and get more shout-outs, turn on your noties like Ryan Rowe. Do you think Robert Quinn can help be the missing piece of a great talent to provide enough experience and consistency? I like the Eagles' defensive line. I especially like the interior of this Eagles' defensive line. But I don't love the depth at edge rusher following the Derek Barnett injury. And yeah, you know, they brought in Jaron Robinson, which was okay. Haven't seen him really do much. But if an injury happens at defensive end, you already lost out on Jason Pierre-Paul. He signed with the Baltimore Ravens. Could you trade for Robert Quinn? I think that's a little bit unlikely because of the price tag, but he is certainly a good player who would bring kind of that Chris Long veteran leadership on the back end of his career. He's a really good player who's put together monster sack numbers for a really long time. I just think it's somewhat unlikely given that cap number and that base salary. Key, what's your thoughts on some of the missed deep balls and slow start from Hurts, even though he had a good game? I don't think that he really started off that slow and missed that many deep balls, honestly. I mean, I thought that he connected on a lot of them. Look, he took that shot downfield to Quez Watkins. The ball wasn't close, but it was whistled for PI. And then the other deep ball that I really liked is that near sideline throw to Devontae Smith. The placement on that, if you watch it from the bird's eye view, the coach's angle, was filthy. Like, he kind of had to fade that ball in there toward the sideline to get it over the DB, and he did. That's a next-level elite one-of-one throw. And then the 50-50 ball deep downfield to Devontae Smith to set up that score right before halftime was great. You know what, Key? You make a point, though. Did he start off slow? Yes. But what I loved was just the mental fortitude from Jalen Hurts. He started off a little bit rocky. Eagles couldn't really do much offensively in that first quarter. Didn't bother him at all. They come out with the 24-point explosion in that second quarter and just put Washington away early. And from that point on at FedEx Field, it was a home away from home game with the Philadelphia faithful showing up, showing out. So I think that Jalen Hurts played well, and I actually liked that he faced adversity early in that football game. With this game coming up on Sunday, Doug Peterson's return, want to field your predictions for this matchup in the comment section. Who you got? J for the Jags, E for the Eagles. Let me know right now down in the comment section. Want to see where you all stand with this game coming up on Sunday from Lincoln Financial Field. Today's presenting sponsor is Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping on the most elite men's grooming tools if you head to manscaped.com/chat and the promo code chat. Right now that fall is here and summer is in the rear view, what we're calling this fresh ball fall. It's the season of pumpkin spice. I had pumpkin spice tea the other day. People were making fun of me, but I'm a man, no worries, because I use Manscaped, by the way, and making sure your crotch looks nice. That means sipping cider in a fall breeze and using Manscaped products to trim your balls with ease. That's right. Today's show brought to you by Manscaped, a company here to make sure that your foliage isn't the only thing shedding its excess leaves. Heck, even Mother Nature knows it's time to lose the excess clutter for fall. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by heading to manscaped.com/chat, promo code chat. This package right here with the Lawnmower 4.0, the nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, and the boxer briefs, the most comfortable that I've ever worn in my life. Continuing to move forward, taking your questions from the homies. Brittany Bees, you're the bee's knees. Do you think the fact that we don't score in the second half is a dominant thing or a weakness? So this is actually kind of how I see it. Against the Jaguars, I'd like to see the Eagles put together 4 quarters. There's no doubt about that because I think they need to against a quality opponent. Up to this point, with Minnesota right there, those are the 2 best teams that the Eagles have faced up to this point. I think the Lions are sneaky good. I think the Commanders are bad. But against quality teams, if you build up that early lead and then you kind of fall flat on your face, good teams are going to be able to come back. So the next challenge for the Eagles, and they know this because Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni have talked about it, they have to put together a full game. Now, I think part of it is you blow the doors off Washington this past Sunday, and you score 24 points in the second frame, you don't really want to reveal much offensively. And the Eagles kind of took their foot off the gas in terms of their aggressive play calling. But at some point, you're going to need to play for all 4 quarters. I'd say it's a little bit of a concern, but you'll take those dominant spurts because, my gosh, they've been dominant in those moments. The real OG Elijah is next up. Is our lack of second half points a lack of change in the locker room or the opposing defense's ability to adapt? I actually think that Nick Sirianni does a good job of making adaptations throughout the game. I mean, shoot, in season last year, the Eagles got off to that awful start. People are saying that Nick Sirianni was an awful hire, that Jalen Hurts was a joke, that he wasn't going to be a franchise quarterback. Well, a big reason for that is that the Eagles passed the most on first downs among all teams in the NFL throughout the first few weeks of the season, and that was their approach offensively. Clearly, though, and I give Nick Sirianni credit for that, they realized it wasn't working with how that team was built, and they weren't catering to the personnel on that team. So what did they do? They ran behind that offensive line. They went on that crazy torrid pace on the back half of the year, ended up making the playoffs in the first year of a rebuild. So the ability to make adjustments has been there for the Eagles. Again, I think it's more of a thing of, okay, we want to have our best calls in the bag, so let's not reveal some of our most creative plays because we want to keep those for our future opponents. Are you joining us for our watch party on Sunday? Speaking of this game and the fact that the Eagles need to come to play, otherwise they're going to go down with an L to a sneaky good Jags team. If you're going to join us, type me in the comments section. If you're not going to join us, you're missing out. Live play-by-play, drinking beers. We're going to be doing some really fun Super Chat games that we will reveal on Sunday. Hope you all do. Kick it with us. Tyler, is this a crazy hot take or not? Brandon Graham finishes top 5 in sacks in the NFL. I'd say that it's a little bit of a bold take. I'm not going to say it's hot. I'm not going to say it's cold. Let's say it's a little bit lukewarm. Only operating under this thought is that Brandon Graham has never been a huge sack producer. He's been more of a guy who generates pressures, who is really good against the run, who also gets quarterback hits. Looking back at his career numbers, the most sacks that he's had in a single season came during that Super Bowl year, 9.5. His year-by-year sack total, 3, 0, 5.5, 3, 5.5, 6.5, 5.5, 9.5, 4, 8.5, 8, 0 last year because of the popped Achilles, and then 3 this year. I don't think he's going to be a huge sack guy. Can he notch double-digit sacks for the first time in his career? That'd be really impressive considering this guy is coming off that severe injury and he's 34 years old. If he continues to age like fine wine, that's a great thing for Philadelphia. I hope he ends his career with the Birds. Key with another one. Is it me or does our punter suck and we need an upgrade? Arryn Siposs. So the Eagles did work out a punter this week. It wasn't because they don't like Arryn Siposs, who has really been up and down, nothing really too special. He's not like a Sean Landetta back in the day, right? Classic OG single bar on the helmet. But they worked out a left-footed punter so that their punt returners, the Eagles, could get ready for the Jags' left-footed punter. That stuff right there, that's good stuff from Nick Sirianni. But Arryn Siposs, he's been okay. He could certainly be better. Speaking of Sean Landetta, is he your favorite all-time Eagle? I highly doubt it at that punter spot. If not, who is your favorite all-time Eagle? Let me know right now in the comments section. Appreciate all of your questions. Don't forget to subscribe and join us Sunday for a watch party.